This is Mel and Karsh. We're interviewing the Secretary of State, Denise Merrill. Hi. How
Hi.
are you?
I'm great.
So could you tell us a little bit about your workshop that you're doing here today?
Sure. Actually, I'm speaking at lunch, and I am someone who used to be a teacher.
Yeah.
And I used to have a program that talked a lot about learning about government and learning about the law.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
it was called the Consortium for Law and Citizenship Education. So that was 30 years ago. Then I ran for office,
Yep.
and I became a state representative from Mansfield, Connecticut. And after that, I ran for statewide office, and now I'm Secretary of the State of Connecticut.
Cool.
Okay.
And what is your workshop going to talk about? Like, what are you going to talk about in it?
I want to talk about how we can get the next generation of voters interested in government and what teachers can do to help teach about our country and our government.
Yep. Cool. Why is it important that you think teachers know how to get kids involved in this?
Well, I think teachers are the ones that are talking to the next generation, and we each have to learn, every generation, again, why we love our country, how to get involved in our towns and our government, and how to become leaders in your own communities.
Yep.
And unless that happens, people tend to go home and just watch television
Yep.
and go on the internet and
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
participate anymore. It's a real crisis in this country.
Yep.
You know, people are not as many people are voting as used to vote,
Yeah.
and particularly younger people because they move a lot. You know, there's a lot of
Yep.
changes going on in
Yeah.
society.
You have a point. Yep. And the governor just is doing a reform plan. What kind of stuff would you like to add to that?
Well, of course, because I'm interested in it, I'd like to see more civic education in the schools.
Yep.
It's something that's not tested anymore.
Yep.
The test is all about reading, writing, and math,
Yeah.
but not so much on content,
Yep.
substance of what people should know.
Yep.
I think every student should have a course in government before they leave high school.
Be very interesting.
In STEP this year, by the way, I'm Ken. I did something called mock trial because from Civics First. Do you know anything about that?
I actually was the first one that started the mock trials back in the 1980s in
nice.
Connecticut.
Wow.
And I'm a lawyer as well as before I was a teacher, I became a lawyer. So we started the mock trials just so students could learn about the judicial process and what it's like to be in a trial, but also how to think through an issue, how to make an argument, how to defend a point of view, you know, all those things that are really serious skills.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm glad to hear you're still involved. It's terrific. I'm glad they're still going.
Yeah. They're still doing it in STEP.
And this was a middle school. We used to do it at for the high schools, but now it sounds like there's a middle school program too.
Yeah, Sheehan, I know that's where I'm going next year. We're trying to get it started there because they don't have it there, and they only have it at Moran where we go. So, yeah.
Yeah, they also have it at DAG, middle school. I go to Moran with them, but they have it throughout the middle schools in most of Connecticut still.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So what do you think you learned from it?
Well, I know I learned a whole lot more about our judicial system because
Yep.
I didn't know that much except the basics, like we have a court and stuff. But now I know what it's like because I played an attorney, so I know what it's like to actually be an attorney and defend someone in a case or prosecute someone.
My brother was doing the mock trial, and just watching him prepare for everything, the closing argument, and even I learned a lot just by watching him in the trial and how everything works during a case.
Yeah, and
Yep,
the
that's
and
really
and
interesting.
why certain things are evidence and why they aren't,
Yeah.
and what makes a good story and what are the arguments for
I
or
w-
against something.
I want to be a lawyer when I grow up.
No,
so,
do you?
Yeah, I do
Good
too.
for you.
Yep.
Wow.
I remember or some kind of politics. It really
Yeah.
interested me.
Uh-huh.
But I remember my sister way back when she was in middle school. She was also in the mock trial, and same thing. It was interesting watching her type up all of her statements, what she was gonna say, and then picking out the correct. Like they had specific clothes that she had to wear because she was an attorney.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand it that well because I was so young.
Yeah.
But it was an amazing process to watch.
Now, don't you think that's a lot more interesting than somebody just giving you a lecture about the
yeah.
judicial
Yeah, of
system?
course.
It was a lot.
It's always
That's
more
why we do
interesting
it.
when you're actually doing something and being involved
Exactly
than just
right.
listening to someone talk about it.
Exactly right.
Yep.
Well, one of the reasons I'm here today is to talk about a curriculum that we're developing about the election, because of course there's a presidential election coming in. That's
Yep.
a really interesting
Yeah.
time to learn about. For example, you're going to see hundreds of ads on television. You're probably
Yeah.
already seeing them to some extent,
Yep.
not so much in Connecticut, but wouldn't it be nice to figure out how do you tell what's real and isn't
yeah.
real?
Yep.
What's truth and falsity,
That'd
and
be-
how are people trying to make you think about them, and all that kind of thing.
That'd be
you know,
very
that's just an
Yeah.
example of what you can do around elections. That's, you know, you're going to be seeing this all the time, and so
Yeah.
it'd be nice to learn a little more about it.
All right. Well,
So-
thank you for taking some time out.
Sure, thanks for having me.
Hope you
This is
enjoy the
great.
rest of your day.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.